What's going on, everybody? This is AJ-47 here with Talking with the Source. I was waiting for you
Are
to
you
do
sure?
it.
Are you actually sure you're starting now?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm starting now. I messed it up. You're not going to lie. All right, go ahead. Introduce yourself, my friend.
It's Robin from Half-Firm Paranormal and Talking with the Source.
Oh, my gosh.
And
Well,
also from his mother's womb.
from his mother's womb. I like that. Anyway, we're joined by two of our good friends right now. First one is Jonathan Keyworth from JK-47 Paranormal Investigations. Let's bring him forward. Also hosts a
It's
talk show.
Joanne Keyworth.
Dude, you confused the hell out of me. You said out of the womb. I was like, out of AJ's mom's womb?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I didn't know what you were talking about at first.
That was a little too
Anyway.
far. That's that British humor. That's
Brother from another mother.
that British humor.
Watch out.
Joanne Keyworth.
Our next guest, one of our good friends, Nando Desario from Portal to the Paranormal. Let's bring him on. What is up?
Fernando.
Hey, everyone. How you all doing?
Good. Glad you could join us, man. So happy you could join us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
How's everything been?
Yeah, it's good. We're just getting ready for like the Global Ghost Hunt because we're on two of the events next week. We've got a lot going on, so just trying to get everything organised and making sure we're prepared for it all.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Glad to hear it. So good to hear, man. Good to hear. How about you, John? How you been?
Good, man. Just talking with spirit, just being patient as what they told me to do. So
nice. I feel you, man. Well, real quick, man, shout out your podcast real quick for us, John, and I'm gonna have Nando shout out his next.
Oh yeah. So I'm on every Tuesday at noon Mountain Standard Time. So I know it's kind of an odd time, but you could always go back and view it. It's just I believe that when you talk to spirit, it's on the God hours. So they happen in threes, 3 a.m., 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. I think that's the best time that we can talk to spirit. And I have the evidence on my YouTube page to back it up. So, so that's what I believe in. That's the strongest time to talk to spirit. So I do it at noon on Tuesdays, Mountain Standard Time. So, check it out.
The name is Targeting with JK-47.
Yeah.
Definitely check them out.
JK-47.
Also on all podcast listening stations too. So check it out there as well. Nando, go ahead, my friend. Shout out yours.
Ours is Portal to the Paranormal for the podcast. We're always on at 8:30 GMT time, and we don't have a set date because it depends on guests and what we're doing. So we sort of just check out the pages that we stream on. So as a lot of you will know, we've got our Portal to the Paranormal page on Facebook, Parapost, YouTube, and then also you can listen to us on like things like Spotify, Amazon Music, and all that if you want to go and catch up and listen to it.
Awesome. What I wanted to share with you guys, and the reason why I kind of brought you on today was I had two things that were being shared, and I told Nando a little bit about this when he asked, but the first thing was, I don't know if you guys saw or not, but over here, I know you guys over in the UK didn't, but over here, I don't know if you saw this, John, but there was an article that was posted from the Harvard scientist who is the head of Pentagon's UFO office that came forward and said that it's highly likely that there's a mothership in our solar system that is sending probes to our Earth. And I'm going to bring up the thing right now. So hold on. One of the articles that showed it. Hold on 1 second. So basically, this is the article right here. It says alien mothership lurking in our solar system could be watching us with tiny probes, Pentagon officials suggest. I find that really crazy. I find this really crazy. Did you guys hear anything I said, or did I cut out?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay. I find this really crazy because it's just like a Pentagon official saying this. It's like, are they really getting us ready for something, or is this a diversion? What do you guys think? Go ahead, whoever wants to start.
Independence Day all over again.
I don't know. I think if aliens are here, I think they're the president right now, and they have no clue what's going on or how to run things. So it would make
Yeah.
sense.
Oh,
It's a hard one because, you know, sometimes when you're reading things in the news online, you know, sometimes they do it as a diversion to, you know, draw people's attention away to what actually could be happening. So
yeah.
you really don't know. It's how real is it? How real is the story? The research that this person's done, you know, the truth in it. Because my problem with it all is that it's great that they can say it, but there's other things going on in the world that I think what they're trying to do maybe is draw their attention away to what's happening in reality and draw it away to something that it's they know they're going to scare people with it, and it's going to, some people are not going to react too well to it, so it diverts their attentions away to what's actually happening in the real world. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong. That's just an opinion.
No, I totally agree. And you know what's crazy, man, is that, like, you know, what if they are doing that? Because right now, a lot of people haven't, it hasn't really been too much in the focus. I mean, a lot of it's on YouTube, a lot of it's on TikTok, talking about the central, the digital currency banking that they're trying to bring over to the U.S. by the end of this year. It's supposed to start July this year. They're supposed to bring on Fed Now, which is basically a cash app, which basically everything's going to run into this. And people are like really worried because, you know, this is a way for them to control if you can get a transaction, if you can get a hold of your money, when you can get access to your money, because everything will be digital. So, like, say if you bought something from Amazon, it would have to go through FedNow to Amazon for you to get the Amazon package. So they could stop you from getting a package if they wanted to. So it's like people are really getting really nervous. So you don't really hear about it a lot over here. From what I've seen in the news, I haven't watched and heard too much about it, which you think would be the headline of everything. But it's crazy because what if they are diverging us away from all this stuff and doing that? So I find it crazy. But I mean, what do you think, Robin?
Well, I'm a firm believer of, you know yourself, I like a good conspiracy theory, but I'm a firm believer in all these movies they make. Where do they get the ideas from? Let's go back to Independence Day. Where did they get the idea from of this massive mothership in the solar system sending these smaller ships all around the world? Where did they get the idea from?
Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Well,
see,
it even goes further back than that because of War of the Worlds.
Exactly.
Concept.
Exactly. But to me, there's not one guy or two or three guys sitting around a table going, do you know what? One big ship and a load of small ships go. It's, you know, the ideas are coming in, but they're coming from somewhere. You know what I mean? If someone is able to think of all that off their own bat, and then not end up coming true years and years down the line, and that person or them persons are messed up in there.
So what about this? What about if I blew your mind even further, dude? So what about all these spirits that we're hunting? What if they are aliens? What if they're operating at that frequency? They know how to control frequency so they can phase in and out of our vision or whatever. And they come through the spirit boxes at that frequency. Well, what if they're so intelligent that they're able to do this? And they're able to do it from up there. You know, they're sitting there eating their space Cheetos, just fucking with us.
You know, what do you think, Nando? Go ahead, your honest opinion, man.
You know what? I get what you're saying.
It's all good here, dude.
I get what you're saying. You know, I think it could be a mind game with the whole, you know, it could be. You know, it just shows that, you know, as much as we investigate, the more we do it, people say you'll get more, you know, your knowledge becomes more. But I think it just shows that we don't know enough yet. We've still got a lot. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. There's something like theories that you're coming up with I've never even thought about like that. You know, could it be something up there that's playing with us, that knows what we want to hear and actually transforming itself to present itself the way we want it to without us even knowing?
You know, with not only just like what you just said, like hearing us, forget about hearing us. Like if this isn't, say, if it's an alien race, right, and they are technology advanced, they have higher consciousness than us. Obviously, they're smarter, all this stuff. So if they had higher consciousness, they're able to telepathically speak to someone, like a lot of these abduction cases say. I want to know, what if we're talking through a spirit box and we're connecting, say, we have to think our question beforehand. And have you ever done a spirit box session where you've gotten an answer as you were thinking or as you were saying the question, and before you can finish, it would come out with the answer? And I'm wondering, like, to what John said, like, imagine if it is that, and it is a alien, alien race or whatever that we're actually communicating with through frequency. And, this whole thing is, that altogether. I mean, that would blow my mind completely, because then it would go back to, well, where is our loved ones? You know what I mean? So it's like such a weird thing to go around and have all these theories, but I love it though. I love to talk about it.
It's awesome you brought up this concept, because I just started watching Ancient Apocalypse, and they talk about like these civilizations that were 16,000 years before Christ. And they have these mass pyramids, and there's these huge blocks that there's no physical way they can move it. And they always talk about the people from above, the higher power, and that's back in their language with the drawings on the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It could be, could not. I don't know.
It makes you have to reassess the whole, the way we're investigating that, because, if you're thinking about it, we're thinking we're communicating with spirits when you get I'm sure we've all had it before, where you go out on an investigation, you're doing this spirit box session, and a specific message comes through for someone or something relating to the location. And if we're saying it could be someone up there playing games with us, so we really don't know what is true to spirits. Could it be something out?
Yeah, no shit, man. I was at a home in Tennessee doing an investigation, and I'm sitting there doing it live, and I have my other phone with the necrophonics on it, and I farted, dude, and I said, "Oh, excuse me, that was me," and I'm not kidding you. 5 seconds later, through the necrophonics, it says, "You farted." I was like, "Oh my god, dude!"
Like, it did.
I got the clip on my page, dude. But yeah, maybe they're just fucking with it, like they know our responses and shit.
Well, it's not only that. It's not only that, but think of it this way, right? Now, I've never, and I'm going to ask this question, but I'll ask it to all three of you, but primarily AJ, right? I have never read the Bible, right? I know little snippets of it from what you hear, but I've never read the Bible. Now, does it mention anywhere in the Bible about alien life or life from other galaxies?
I can't. Ooh. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know offhand. I can't recall offhand that's not what I was.
That you know of.
But here's the thing.
That I know of. No, it does not.
Right. So then there's another thing, right? They say that these Christian people. Yeah, I know. These Christian people don't believe in ghosts and spirits. Yet Jesus died and then rose from the dead. A ghost.
Being.
Right?
Yeah, but now can I finish what I was going to say? Recorded. Here, let me finish what I was going to say. So in that Bible, that's the say King James, right, version Bible. I don't know offhand if it has in it. I'm not going to speak on something I don't know of. But if you look at the books that aren't in the Bible that they took out, like Enoch, stuff like that, in Enoch, it speaks of Enoch being taken up into basically what we would call a ship and taken off into the stars, and talks about all this stuff with alien race and all this type of stuff. Read the book of Enoch. It's pretty intense and it's pretty wild. Some of the stuff that he goes through. But in the actual King James Version Bible, I don't know, and that's not something I'm going to, say.
Yeah. I have never heard of anybody that has said to me, right, there is part in the Bible where it says, right, this spaceship came in and these grey people with triangular heads and stuff, right? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of anybody in a church or any priest, any minister like that. I've never heard of any of them talking about, when they talk about Jesus and God and all this here, I'm talking about people extraterrestrials. You never hear of that. So the thing is, why is it mentioned in the Bible that, for a start, that they don't believe in spirits and ghosts and stuff like this here, when really the person that they're worshiping is a ghost, is a spirit.
You have to understand something. You're talking when you were talking to people,
worshiping the one that walked among us. There's one above him, his father. And that's the mothership or whatever. Who
exactly
knows?
all he had to do was have one glance at Mary, and she was.
Yeah, they could have abducted her, stopped time, used frequency to implant the.
But anybody watching this is going to think that I'm taking the piss here, and it's not. It's questions that people need to be able to ask.
You're asking a sector of Christianity. You're asking Jehovah's Witnesses that come to your house. Okay, a Jehovah's Witness has a different view than, say, a reborn Christian or someone who is.
I'm asking anybody.
In a reborn sense. So there's different denominations inside of a Christianity. So you have to understand, the church that I went to is a reborn type Christian church. That's what I like, not what I grew up in. I grew up in a regular Catholic church, like a Protestant style Catholic church. But I went to this reborn Christian church when I was 16 years old and met some amazing people. And in there, yes, we talked about spirits. We talked about, demons. We talked about all this stuff. And it's very prevalent in the Christianity community. But when you're having a conversation with Jehovah's Witnesses and you're getting these older people that are going to come to your house, of course they're not going to speak about it. You're never going to hear about it. But it does talk about all that stuff. In the Bible, it actually talks about when Paul, I think, or not Paul, I forget, one of the disciples was actually brought back through a witch, was brought back to be summoned and just to then to speak to. I forget what I forget what book it was in, but basically I don't remember what apostle was brought back, but he was brought back to speak to, and he was brought back from the dead through a witch, and basically she summoned this thing, and it was crazy. But long story short, I'll look that up when we get off here, man, and I'll send it to you. It's a pretty good.
So
it's a good
is this how it ties in? Is this how it ties in though? Because in the Christian faith, ever since the church began, that there are demons, right? There are beings that haven't walked this earth. So would that be them up there? Because me personally investigating, I've been in some shitty places, man, and I'm telling you, I've never seen a demon. I've never seen somebody possessed. I've seen two people that thought they were possessed, but it wasn't like The Exorcist and shit. I mean, is it possible their frequencies got tied in and that's where possession comes in? But it's just funny because maybe Lorraine Warren was right, that there are these beings that were never birthed on this planet.
I think the problem when you're stepping into things you're talking about demonic entities and demons and things like that, it's such a hard one because it's so over televised with things on
Hollywood TV. Glorified them.
And I get what you're saying. There could be stuff that we don't know about that's never existed. It makes more sense to think it could be something up there because there's more evidence to say about aliens, UFOs, and things like that. Then, it's easy for someone to say they've had experience with demons, but we've been in locations where it's meant to be, really bad spirits and things that have never existed. And I've never encountered anything like that. The most I've encountered, if it's a spirit that's pissed off, it's most probably, and my wife likes to say this, it was pissed off in life, it's most probably crossed over and pissed off in the afterworld as well. And that's most probably what that is. And I just think too many people go into a place and straight away, it's a demon because it does something that's aggressive or angry. Exactly. It's a demon. It's this.
It's an asshole. Yeah. That's what it is.
And do you know what? I'll sit here and say I could be wrong. I could be really wrong. But with the investigations we've done, and we've done some weird places, some really remote places, and I've got to be honest. I would think the amount of time that we've been doing it for, we would have come across something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's the church glorifying it. If you watch once a year, there's always a possession movie or a devil movie that comes out that makes people kind of keep that on the edge of their mind.
Well,
that
think about this.
is getting
Think about
realer.
this from the standpoint. Think about this from the standpoint of the church, and then I'm going to answer what Robin was saying earlier that I wanted to get back to. But so the standpoint of the church, right? Thousands of years ago, even to this day, how do they make their money? Through patrons giving. So the whole point is they wanted to put a scare in them. If you look back in the actual history of the Bible, if you look back to the the second temple period, they actually created hell into the Bible. And it was actually to, believe it or not, the reason what they believe is because they believe it was to scare people so that they wouldn't turn away from their faith,
Exactly. So they're
so that they would provide.
compliant.
But
Yeah.
Robin, what I wanted to say to you was the reason why you're not going to see in the Bible an alien ship comes down and aliens with triangle heads comes out. The reason why you're not going to see that is because those people in that time didn't know how to subjectively write that way. The way that they wrote was, I had a dream of an eagle with 5 legs, 40 arms that look like man, 6 eyeballs, 1 peacock, and 1, it was wild. It's like they didn't know how to describe stuff the way we do, very simplistic. So that's why you'll never see that. But I believe a lot of the stuff that they were seeing, these aliens and these beings, these like contractions, what if they really were this alien race that came down to
Man, you have to think about it. Like the races or societies that were thousands of years, they had to draw. And then we started to learn how to write.
Yeah.
You look at the evolution of communication, it's not caught up to where theirs is, you know.
I think, and going back to, you're talking about the church as the Bible's religion, I don't talk about a religion a lot because I come from a Catholic background. But one thing I would say, well, 2 things is, firstly, people that say they don't believe in when you're doing a paranormal investigation and you're communicating with spirit. If you don't believe that, then why do you go to church to pray? A bit like what you were saying earlier on.
Exactly. Thank you.
But then the second thing, when you're talking about spirits like a higher God and hell, how do we know where they get it from? Because for all we know, they could be writing this just to scare people into thinking they've got to be good, so they get the green pass to go to heaven.
And you have to give 10% of your money to us.
And I think a lot of this, we're not going to be able to say for sure, or we're not going to know this until our time here is done. Let's be honest, we're not going to know what's on. We are only assuming based on evidence, what we can gather, but that's just a very small piece of the jigsaw compared to what is really out there.
100% agree, Nando. 100%, man.
It is. But the thing is, what gets me is why these people, the one, say these people, I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to rephrase that. So these Christian people, these regular churchgoers, right? Why they seem so defensive about this stuff, but they want us to believe in what they believe in, but they're not willing to think or look or believe at what we believe in. A lot of them, now not all of them, fair enough, but a lot of them is either their way or no way. And and at the end of the day, freedom of speech and freedom of what you believe in is 2 of the things, 2 of the things that we should have in this world. And if we want to believe that there's little grey men up there that come down and stick a probe up your anus and stuff like that, that's absolutely fine. If you want to believe in that, you can believe in it. They don't have to believe in it. But why are they saying, oh, you shouldn't? Well,
I think with that, Robin, is there's a small percentage of people are like that. They get defensive because they don't like to be challenged, because everyone has a right to believe in what they want to believe. It doesn't matter if you think your God's green, pink, whatever. But certain people are there to not listen. They just want to chuck religion down your throat and say, this is what you have to believe. This is what the Catholic Church are very like that as well.
Dude, so the Mormon Church, they took all their donations and they built a friggin' mall right by the headquarters of their church. They built a huge mall with all their donations. And they're like, oh, this will help. No, it's getting them money, dude. Because they own the real estate and they're charging rent to all these businesses that are in that mall.
Well, anyway, on a better note,
Crazy.
No, you're
Crazy.
absolutely right. And I mean, everything we talked about is absolutely right. And it's sad that the world is revolved around money. And even faith is now revolved around, well, it's always been revolved around money. But it's just sad that everything is so corrupt over money or wealth or some kind of gain like that, when it really should be about, raising your consciousness, getting you to be something, better. But yeah,
I'm up for
Matt,
that. I'm up for that.
Yeah.
I just think,
anyway,
unfortunately, because of the economy that we're in and the climate that we're in, money is a factor for everyone, and it's sort of that. I think every industry has lost their initial reason why they got into it. Like, and we're not talking about the paranormal because we don't make money from it. Let's be honest. If we make money, we wouldn't have to go out to work our normal jobs and things. But a lot of things, because the only way they can survive is because of the climate. There's not enough help out there. The economy is absolutely shot to pieces. The only people that are really benefiting is the governments and things like that. And I think that's what it is, and it loses that touch. But again, people
Why do you
lose
think
faith.
they opened the borders to fill that gap?
Yeah, well, hey, you never know. You never know. You're right. No, I totally agree, though, Nando. I totally agree with you. One question I wanted to ask you guys, I'm going to kind of switch pace here, but one thing I want to ask you guys about is, if you guys ever heard, I was telling John about this before, so Nando and Robin earlier, have you ever heard about the story about how this doctor was down in Antarctica with the military people that were down there doing their expedition that was down there, and these guys were coming back with major lacerations on their body, and he would always ask, "What's the matter?" They look like they're drugged. What's going on? And he would just be told, "Shut up, just treat them. Don't say anything, blah, blah, whatever." And all this stuff would get pushed under the rug. Well, one day he ended up finding out, end of the story is he found out that there was these arachnid type creatures that were in the ice that they thought were dead, that were frozen for thousands, millions of years. They took out of the ice, brought them into one of the facility buildings, and it ended up reanimating, coming back to life. And it started to attack, obviously, and kill a couple of the military people that were obviously stationed in Antarctica. Well, all of a sudden, a little while ago, a person took a screenshot of a Google Map picture of Antarctica on the landscape when you can zoom down onto the landscape, and this is what it showed, which I find absolutely crazy.
The fuck is that?
Now tell me, Nando, I know that now this could be totally nothing. This could be totally staged. It could be, done with, just blur over the picture and they animated that in, no problem. But it's just funny that I just find that's so funny relating to this story. Now, it could be complete bullshit, probably is, but what a conspiracy theory though, right? Tell me, what do you think, man?
It's a hard one because whenever they come up with things like this, these creatures, that the images are always fuzzy, really bad quality images. And you think some of the people that are getting these images are in high roles in the military. And the military, they have outstanding equipment, but they can't get a focused photo. But then they can get pictures from up in the skies and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just so you can do that when you're shooting a picture up in the sky and getting a clear image of what's going on up there, but you can't get a clear image on the Earth. And it's just hard. And again, they're the only ones that have seen it. There's no other proof, normal people seeing these sort of things. Do you know what I mean? It's always, I don't know. It's hard.
Oh, yeah. How about you, John?
Dude, like I said, man, unless I'm there and I'm actually seeing it, I don't trust any of these videos on TikTok with all this poltergeist, Bigfoot, whatever. I don't trust it because I could take a video of me standing there, and I can do it and show it at all the same time with all this editing software, dude.
What? But unless devil's advocate,
unless it's live and it's actually happening as I'm filming, there's no way to edit it. That's the only way, man. Or timestamps. If you're brave enough to show the countdown on the clock so we can see if you edit it or not,
But there's a way to mess with that too, though. There's a way to mess with a timestamp too.
All right, well then just live.
But
then.
I'm just saying, no, you are right though. Live is the best way. But what I was going to say is, does that discredit anything that you've recorded though?
No, because I was there. I can vouch for my stuff,
but now
people won't believe me. It
But
doesn't
as a
matter what I
skeptic, right?
think.
Say if I'm a skeptic and I'm watching your stuff, what you just said basically made me feel like, well, how should I trust your stuff now? You know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to play devil's advocate with you and ask you that.
No,
You're playing.
it's up
That's a
to
good
you.
game.
Right?
It's up to you, man. Like I said, I'm a soldier. I'm an honorable person. You know, all my shit is 100%.
And to be fair,
Cheers to that,
AJ's right. AJ's right. He's playing devil advocate there.
I am only playing devil's
Oh,
advocate.
I agree, man.
AJ's
And that's
clever.
why
He
I'm
tries
like,
to
why
put
don't these
people off.
motherfuckers go live? If this shit is happening so much at your house, why wouldn't you have like a live feed in every room? You
And
know,
I think that's the
in a room,
difference.
charge them $2 per room or something.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to fucking us on the TikTok.
I think that's the problem. The difference to what we try and capture. You know, let's be honest. Like capturing things moving, and we do it live. We go live so people can see, you know, what's going on in the room around us. But when you're looking at things like, you know, these creatures like Bigfoot, you look at the videos of Bigfoot when they catch a Bigfoot, something walking, it always looks like a guy in the distance. Like if you think about it and pause it with one of those, you know, those big puffer jackets, like that keeps you warm.
Well, with the new AI stuff, they could just take a picture of an old video and they can make it move however they want on a new video, you know?
And I think, you know what? I think working in the paranormal with spirits is more reasonable things to believe in than these creatures, because everything is like, let's be honest, like things with Bigfoot, right? That everyone says that they've seen sightings of Bigfoot, his footprint, but surely by now, if there was more than one of them would have passed on by now, like they died of some kind of disease, and the body would have been found. But there's no actual physical evidence to show.
Who knows? Maybe those are demons.
No, I was about to say no. Listen, what I was about to say is that one, there is a theory that aliens tie into Bigfoot too. But besides that whole thing, the reason why, check this out, the reason why we may not have found a body, if these things do exist, is because they're probably intelligent, obviously, to stay hidden. If they are real, they're intelligent to stay hidden from us. So that means they're intelligent enough to know the importance of digging a grave and putting their body in if they want to stay hidden. Just saying, you know what I'm saying? So if that's if they're real. But there's a guy on TikTok that has shown a body that with good HD quality, you know, stuff. He said he just got it sent in to the lab, quote unquote, is what he's saying. He's like really hardcore about telling that this is real. And I mean, does it look real? Of course it does. But it could it be completely fake? Of course. You know what I mean? So we're never gonna know.
The same with the videos, AJ, when they say in like someone's reported a sighting.
This would be my question to him. Why didn't you go live? Why didn't you go live when you got the body?
You're right. Hold on one sec on that thought. Go ahead back to what you were saying on Nando, because I want to hear what you had to say.
I was going to say, like, with videos, it's very easy to mislead people into thinking it's something real. They've done it with alien autopsies. They've done it, you know, with Bigfoot. Yep. Even a guy, I remember watching a program, this is years ago now, where a guy claims that he saw a UFO. He was walking in the field, and then it was debunked, and it was proven that he was lying. Someone in the background had a string, and it was flying like this little saucer up and down. And then they edited it to take away the string, to take away, you know, how close it was.
That's when Photoshop.
But they made it look real. If you wasn't clever and if you didn't think logically about things, you would think that was a UFO. And it just shows how easy it is to falsify evidence. And before anyone says in the comments, we can do the same with paranormal investigations. Yes, it is. It's about integrity. If you're true to yourself with what you're doing, then we know what we're picking up is true. But I think the things with creatures, it's too easy to try and falsify because, yeah, like I said, there has been no physical proof on a lot of things. We're just going by hearsay of what people have researched and what they believe, you know, until...
Or overacting.
Or overacting, yes, I agree. You know, or overacting, you know, it's, you know, and like you were saying, I need to see it in real life to be a believer. Like with spirits, you know, I've seen things to make me believe it, and that's why I do what I do. You know, and I just think when you're talking about things like cryptids and everything, they got so many different ones, like the Jersey Devil. They got the Banshee. You know, there's just so many.
See, that's the thing. So now, what do we say to those witnesses that swear to God? You know, that's like us trying to prove our stuff to our skeptics, you know? So
it is.
You know, I take it with a grain of salt, you know, then that's what I tell them. And unless I'm there, I'm like, if you got a video or something to show me that you took, then I'll have more, you know, insight to come investigate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But again, I go back to the other point that I made at the start is if there's not a Bigfoot, if there's not a Banshee, if there's not a Dog Man, a Mothman, any of these, if there's not aliens, where have they come up? Who was it come up with all this? Where did they come up with the pictures, the descriptions? Where did they come up with it all? It has to
like these mom and pop fucking people that live in a barn that come into town once a month, you know, like people just discount their crap.
Bigfoot though, like
somewhere.
Bigfoot has been around. You can't say it about Bigfoot because Bigfoot has been around since ancient tribes have wrote about Bigfoot. Bigfoot, no, but I mean the Jersey Devil, all this kind of stuff. Yes, I mean it's all hearsay until someone sees it. But there's thousands of sightings, so who knows? Are they really seeing what they're seeing? Who knows? I haven't seen it for myself.
And like,
I mean, I'm not gonna hide the fact. 6 months ago, a year ago, I would have sat here. AJ knows because I said to him, I would have sat here when people said to me, Bigfoot, you know, all this kind of, I'd be like, nah, total shit, total and absolute shit. I don't, but the more that we see on it, the more people that we talk to about this kind of thing, the more that you see people that are passionate about cryptids. You know what I mean? The more evidence there is of these supposed beings, it had to come from somewhere. You know, it's like we say about ghosts. Oh, look at this picture here. We caught a black shadow figure. Well, you're gonna show a black shadow figure. So if someone says, "Oh, well, we have caught a Bigfoot," well, then you're going to show a picture of what you believe to be a Bigfoot. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that these ideas have to come from somewhere. It's the same with, like I say, aliens, anything like that. They have to come from somewhere. It's not just someone sitting there with a notepad and a pencil going, "Oh, I'm going to draw this thing. It's half dog, half woman." You know what I mean? And
no, I get it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it could be as easy as that, though, Robin. Some clever person has thought of a story in their head, and then that story's got out from a book, a movie, and then it's gone from there, and it's just flown off the handle that these things are all real. It's a bit like Goosebumps, the movie. It might be a bad, example, but a guy originally wrote a story, the story come true, and that's, some of it could be based on what people are seeing, and they're trying to make it real from a book or a movie and trying to make it something that it really isn't. But again, that's the problem. We don't know for sure. We're just going on what we've seen and what we believe.
Or what do they call the things that crawl around, the wraiths?
There you go. Yeah.
Slender Man and shit. Like, those are.
But this is the thing that Nando was touching on a little while ago. Is we go out ghost hunting. We're into the paranormal, and we go out to try and prove that the paranormal is there. We believe it. We believe fully in it. We have integrity. We have trust. We believe that it exists, and what we want, the Holy Grail, we want to be standing there with the camera and this shadow figure walk towards us and catch that on camera and say to people, look, here's the evidence. But that, again, is only evidence that we have captured, that we want people to believe, that a lot of people will say, fair enough, yes, it's true. But there will be the believers, like Matt Barron said, there will be the believers that believe that we have somehow faked that. But then that has to come from somewhere, and that comes from us out filming, out trying to gather all the evidence to show people. But people are doing that with cryptids. So, I mean, why?
But I think a big problem with our industry as well is not just that people are non-believers. I think people are starting to realise more and more these TV shows are not as genuine as what they first thought it to be. Because let's be honest, I think the paranormal got more popular because more TV shows started appearing on TV, and then everyone's taking their expectations from the TV shows, and then because we're showing things that are not as active as what we see on TV, that's why people find it hard to believe, because their expectation is like, we need to see a chair lifting up in the air and rocking side to side. That's what's paranormal.
Go back to Ghost Adventurers season 1. Watch a couple of those episodes when they first started. Oh my God, they did generally catch crazy shit, but then they started getting into the oh my God, like overacting, because they knew it raised their views. And
but the problem is people believe in that, and that's what's making it harder, because they believe what they're seeing on TV. Because I think viewers think because it's on TV, it has to be true, these sort of documentaries, when we know it's not how it really is. You can sit in a location for 6 hours and, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen at all. And that is a real investigation. That is real research when you're doing it like that. So,
I people ask you, did you experience anything there? And you can be like, no, I sat there for 6 hours and not a thing, But you go to this other place, I was there for 10 minutes and this stuff's going off everywhere.
Yeah, but that's what I say to people who ask me for advice, who ask me for help, is if you go and you do 5 videos and you capture evidence in each of those 5 videos and you post it, that's all well and good. If you go on your 6th one or your 7th one or your 8th one and you don't capture nothing, still post that video, because you need to show that you are out investigating and there's not stuff happening every time.
Well, you know what? I used to do that. I used to care so much about doing that, dude. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a damn anymore. I just show the stuff that I catch now, because I'm so tired of trying to tell people and show people like, oh, this is real. This is not fake. But you know what, dude? I can care less, because I know true to myself that I know what I'm getting is real. I never faked a single thing in my life. And I never have to worry about that, because I will never, because I have too much respect for this field. But you know what? To worry about that and just to post it up just to show people, forget that crap. Because you want to know what? People don't care. People don't really care at all, to be honest with you. And that's the frustrating part about this field, is that you want people to care, but then they do. And the only time they do is when they want to bring you down. It's not about something positive half the time.
The thing is, I get a buzz, right? If I'm out investigating and I catch evidence, right? Like I take photographs, for instance, I get a buzz if I've caught something, right? If I hear responses on the spirit box that tie in, that basically answer point blank questions that I've asked, I get a buzz from that, because I'm capturing evidence that I believe and that I believe that nobody can disbelieve. But what I want to say as well is, and it's getting back to what you were saying, AJ, I get what you were saying, but I get nearly as much of a buzz as if I'm saying to someone, look at this photograph I've captured, and I explain what was going on, and they look at it and they go, fucking hell, man, you've caught something there. There's no way of it. I get nearly as much of a buzz of people, if it's 1, 2, 10, whatever, say to me,
we're talking about the ones that had no evidence. I'm saying, why would I put that up? I don't have time for that no more, because I'm done trying to prove to people what's fake and what's real. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying, for me personally, I stopped showing the stuff when I didn't have any evidence, because it was like, what's the point?
My videos went from like an hour and a half down to 2 minutes, 3.
Yeah.
And it just proves, because that's what it takes. It's literally, you can spend 6 hours at a location and you'll get 5 minutes worth of evidence. Literally 5 minutes. And that could be, a bit of equipment going off that, shouldn't, because of the location that you're in. It is, and that's the thing. But I understand what you're saying, AJ, and it's not we're not in this to make people to believe in what we do. You can choose. If you want to believe or you want to find out more, watch the videos, watch the podcast, listen to people's stories.
Don't let it judge the way you feel, man. If you feel strong about it, then stay that way. Just blow them off. Be like, yeah, man, love and light. Move on with your stuff,
Yeah.
But we leave ours when we're on location, we go live all the time, and we just leave the cameras on, because people can see when we're out of a room. We position it so you can see the whole room. And then people know if anything happens in there, that's, tell us and we'll review it.
That's why I
and
do
that's why we do it.
investigations alone. If I go to a house, I do it alone. I'm like, nope, it's just me and the homeowner here, and they're usually in a room, and I'm doing everything else. And so if stuff's happening up over here, and I'm the only one there, then what can you say? It's like, and that's why I do it live too. All the craziest crap I caught has been live. Like my third investigation in California, I had a cat ball on a pillow in between a teddy bear, and it was going off on command, and there's no reason it should have gone off.
I can say exactly the same with me. I was using the cat ball. I think it was about 2 minutes long, and I put it on my TikTok page. And it's basically me talking, and the cat ball was going off on command. I asked specific questions, and it went off when it shouldn't have. There was nothing else that can set it off. And I think that's real. But you're always going to get those people that disbelieve it. And I think part of it is they're scared to believe in what they don't know. I think the big thing is people are scared to believe in what they don't know. So they'd rather not believe it and turn their head away from it because it makes them feel better. And if that's how you want to be, then that's absolutely fine. It's not saying that's wrong. Everyone has the right to think what they want.
Like you said, it's funny because those same people are the ones that go to church every Sunday and bow their head to an invisible person that's not there anyway. So.
Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys for coming on, but I want to talk about those two things. And we went on to a bunch of different stuff, which I'm super happy of. Super happy of, because we got the debate, man. We got to have a good conversation. But I want to thank you guys for coming on, man. I really appreciate the both of you, and I respect the both of you in this field so much. And I just love everything you guys are doing. But before we go, man, Nando, shout out your stuff first, and then John.
So, as everyone knows, Portal to the Paranormal. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Insta, YouTube. We also have our live podcast, Portal to the Paranormal for the podcast. We've got some great shows coming up. We've got Bill Slavin tomorrow evening coming on for a chat, and we've got quite a few coming on over the next couple of weeks. So just check us out, and if you miss it, you can reach us on Spotify, Amazon Music. So we're out there. We're out and about, so check out.
Cool. Go ahead, John.
All right, just like it says right there, JK-47 Paranormal. Just put that in Google or whatever, and it'll take you wherever you want to go. I got YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that fun stuff, Facebook. I got a show every Tuesday, 12 p.m. on Mountain Time. So do some fun stuff. Check it out.
Awesome. Well,
can I just say one thing before they go as well?
No.
Well, talk. We are bringing out, obviously, I can't say much just yet, but we are doing something new. We at Talking with the Source are doing something new. We have an idea that we're putting into fruition. It's gonna be good. Nando knows all about it because Nando's involved in it with his team as well.
But right, because I'm out.
Well, you never know, but we are bringing something. We're bringing something to the table that could really, really take off. So just keep watching this space.
If it's Dylan Mullaney, I'm still out.